thinking my ex-girlfriend had died in a plane crash. I spent 3 years burning spirit money in paper mansions for her. I even made wishes at her grave. Please bless me with a promotion, a raise, and make sure my next girlfriend is a billionaire. Then, in the 4th year, a new CEO was parachuted into our company. She slapped my ID badge onto the table, wearing a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Caleb Hayes, I hear you visit my grave every Memorial Day, and you complain about inflation in the afterlife economy, saying you haven't received the billions you burned for me. I stared at that all-too-familiar face, my legs turning into jelly. Did the server connection to the other side fail? She took a step closer. No, your wish just came true. Ms. Sterling, here is the financial report for the new quarter. I kept my head down, handing over the file with both hands, wishing I could shove my head into the nearest shredder. A cold laugh drifted from above, followed by the click-clack of high heels approaching, step by step. Caleb Hayes, look at me. The voice was familiar, laced with a mix of mockery and chill. I looked up, trembling. The face before me was stunning, identical to the black-and-white photo of my late ex-girlfriend, except she was standing there in the flesh, wearing a bespoke suit, radiating an aura of absolute dominance. I heard that every year you beg me to play matchmaker for you from beyond the grave. The entire conference room gasped. Dozens of eyes stabbed into me like daggers. I wanted to weep. No wonder I was still a corporate drone, making $5,000 a month. So the server really did crash. All that spirit money, those paper villas, I burned them for nothing. I was devastated, ready to beat my chest in agony. Do you know how expensive premium Joss paper is? Serena Sterling raised an eyebrow, seemingly surprised by my reaction. You're just heartbroken over the money you burned? I wiped my nose. Hell yes. Inflation in the afterlife is out of control. I burned you billions in celestial currency, converted to real dollars. I've lost a fortune over the last 3 years. My colleagues looked at me like I belonged in an asylum. Ron Geller, the HR manager, slammed the table to suck up to the new boss. Hayes, what kind of superstitious nonsense are you spouting? How dare you curse, Miss Sterling? Serena raised a hand, cutting him off. She walked right up to me, her finger lightly hooking the lanyard of my ID badge. Her fingertips were cool, the touch terrifyingly real. Billions, huh? She smirked. All right, Caleb, we'll settle that debt slowly. Meeting adjourned. She turned and walked away, leaving me with a view of her retreating, stylish silhouette. I slumped into my chair. I was screwed. My ex-girlfriend wasn't dead. She was my boss. And worst of all, I'd stood in front of her tombstone wishing for a sugar mama and complaining that she was controlling when she was alive and blocking my financial blessings now that she was dead. How much of that had she heard? Ron leaned over, gloating. Hayes, you are toast. The way Ms. Sterling looked at you, she's gonna flay you alive. I rolled my eyes at him. You don't know Jack. It's called Ghost. Although, right now, I wasn't sure if she was human or spirit. Back in my cubicle, I immediately opened Amazon. Search query. What to do if your ex comes back from the dead for revenge? Urgent. Before I could get any results, my desk phone rang. Caleb Hayes. My office. It was Serena. Her voice betrayed no emotion, which made it sound like a death warrant. I took a deep breath, grabbed a resignation letter template off my desk, and walked in like a man marching to the gallows. Pushing open the door, I saw Serena standing by the floor-to-ceiling window, overlooking the Chicago skyline. Seat. I didn't dare sit. I stood stiffly against the wall. Ms. Sterling, ignorance is a valid defense, right? I was suffering from grief-induced psychosis. Serena turned around, toying with a lighter in her hand. It was a cheap Zippo knockoff I'd given her 3 years ago. She still had it. I heard you wish for your next girlfriend to be a billionaire. She flicked the lighter, the flame dancing. I gulped. That was just so I could afford to burn better stuff for you on Memorial Day. Oh, she took a step closer. Then what about the mansion? The one with the pool? Burned it. Then why didn't I receive it? Maybe customs in the afterlife seized it. I stammered. I didn't burn a building permit with it. Probably got flagged as illegal construction. Serena actually laughed, though it was sharp. Caleb, 3 years later, and all you have left is that mouth of yours. She slammed a file onto the desk. This is your transfer order. My heart sank. Definitely fired. I picked up the file and froze. Executive personal assistant? I widened my eyes. Ms. Sterling, isn't this inappropriate? My skill set doesn't match. Serena sat back in her leather chair, crossing her legs, her eyes amused. Why not? You're an expert at burning things and serving the dead, aren't you? From now on, my daily life, coffee, errands, everything is your responsibility. If you mess up, I'll show you what a real living hell looks like. I became the company's most tragic, lucky bastard. Everyone whispered that I was Serena Sterling's boy toy. Only I knew the truth. I was an indentured servant here to pay off a debt. A debt of several $1 trillion in celestial currency. First day on the job, Serena gave me a wake-up call. Literally, 6 a.m., my phone vibrated off the nightstand. Be downstairs at my place. Drive me to work. I stared at the pitch-black sky outside. Since when was being a chauffeur part of the PA job description? But I didn't dare refuse. The current Serena held the power of life and death over me, and my pathetic paycheck. I arrived at her penthouse building. A sleek black Maybach was waiting. I reached for the driver's door, but the window rolled down. Arthur, the driver, looked at me with pity. Mr. Hayes, Miss Sterling wants you in the back. Terrified, I slid into the back seat. Serena was resting her eyes, a faint scent of cold wood and sage clinging to her. She used to love sweet, fruity perfumes. Now, she smelled expensive and distant. "Good morning, Ms. Sterling." She didn't open her eyes. She just tossed a tablet at me. Memorize today's itinerary. I looked at it. It was packed solid from 7 a.m. to midnight. "Ms. Sterling, are you trying to ascend to godhood? Even a ghost couldn't survive this schedule." Serena opened her eyes, bloodshot veins visible in her beautiful irises. "Why? Worried about me?" I pouted. "I'm worried you'll drop dead from exhaustion. Then I'd have to go back to burning paper, and I'd have to buy a whole new paper mansion." "Caleb," she gritted her teeth, "docking you $200. I shut up immediately. When we got to the office, Ron was by the elevators chewing out an intern. When he saw me getting out of the Maybach with Serena, his eyes almost popped out of his head. Ms. Sterling, Hayes is..." Serena didn't even look at him. She walked straight into the private executive elevator. I moved to follow, but Ron grabbed my arm. "Hayes, you act fast, don't you?" Latched onto the golden thigh already. He sounded sour. "Don't think she actually likes you. Women at her level just want a toy. She'll dump you soon enough." I shook off his hand and adjusted my tie. "Ron, you've got it all wrong." I adopted a grave expression. "Ms. Sterling values my unique talents." "Talent? You? What can you do?" "Slack off." "I can burn offerings," I said with a straight face. "Ms. Sterling said the office feng shui is bad, and she needs a live-in totem to ward off evil. My horoscope is heavy. I'm perfect for the job." Ron's face turned green. The elevator doors opened again. Serena stared at me coldly from inside. "Are you coming? Or are you waiting for Ron to give you a bonus?" I scrambled inside. As the doors closed, I caught a glimpse of Ron's constipated expression. Satisfying. Alone in the elevator, the atmosphere was awkward. I stole a glance at Serena. She was checking her hair in the mirrored wall. 3 years. She had changed so much, yet somehow hadn't changed at all. "Seen enough?" she suddenly asked. I jumped. "No. I wasn't looking." "Caleb, aren't you curious why I'm not dead?" I nodded frantically. That was the biggest question. Her name was on the manifest of that crash. I had even identified her remains, which was just a smashed watch. Serena turned, cornering me with her gaze. "If I told you I faked my death to escape you, would you believe me?" I froze. My heart felt like it had been pricked by 1,000 needles. Escaping me? Faking her death for 3 years just to get away? Was I that repulsive? The elevator dinged open. Serena strode out, her voice trailing in the air behind her. "I'm kidding, idiot." Even though Serena said she was joking, it felt like a heavy stone had settled in my stomach. I was distracted all morning. I jammed the copier with an original document and put salt instead of sugar in her coffee. Serena took one sip, frowning deeply. "Caleb, are you trying to induce hypertension so you can inherit my estate?" I apologized profusely. "Sorry, boss. I'll brew a fresh pot." "Forget it." She set the cup down, looking past me toward the door. "Come in." The door pushed open. A man in a white suit, hair slicked back with enough oil to fry an egg, strutted in. He was holding a massive bouquet of red roses. "Serena, welcome back to the States." The man flashed a brilliant smile, his veneers blinding me. I recognized him. Julian Thorne, heir to the Thorne Group. Notorious playboy and one of Serena's suitors from back in the day. I couldn't believe this guy was still chasing her. Serena didn't take the flowers. She just nodded faintly. "News travels fast, Julian." Julian placed the flowers on the desk himself, then swept a scornful glance over me. "Well, if it isn't Caleb Hayes. Still working for wages." He scoffed. "I heard you were crying your eyes out for years. What? Now that you see Serena is back, you want to live off a woman?" I clenched my fists. "Mr. Thorne, I earn my living with my skills." "Skills?" Julian laughed. Skill at fetching coffee? Or acting? He turned to Serena, his voice turning sickly sweet. Serena, why keep a loser like him around? Fire him. I'll send over a team of professional assistants from my office. Serena leaned back in her chair, tapping her finger on the desk. Is Julian Thorne teaching me how to run my business? Julian's face stiffened. I didn't mean that. I just want what's best for you. My staff isn't for others to critique. Serena's voice wasn't loud, but it carried an undeniable authority. Also, take your flowers. I'm allergic to pollen. Julian's face flushed red, then white. He shot me a venomous glare before grabbing his flowers and slinking away. I was internally cheering. Serena's protective streak hadn't changed. Don't get too happy, Serena said coldly. I'm keeping you because you have a use. What use? Cock blocker. She pointed at the door. From now on, you handle flies like him. My face fell. Boss, does this count as hazardous duty? It does. She tossed a credit card at me. Clothing allowance. Clean yourself up. Don't embarrass me. I picked up the card, feeling conflicted. Aren't you afraid I'll take the money and run? Serena looked up, her eyes deep pools. You won't. Why? Because you can't let go. She went back to her files, ignoring me. I walked out holding the card, my mind a mess. Did she have me figured out completely? That afternoon, Ron came looking for trouble again. He dumped a stack of files on my desk that definitely weren't my job. Hey, those who can do. These are urgent. Get them done before you leave. I looked at the pile, towering half as high as a person, and sneered. Ron, do you need a hearing aid? What? I'm the executive assistant, not your intern. I pushed the pile back. Do your own grunt work. Ron exploded. Hayes, don't get arrogant. Believe me, I can make sure you never work in this industry again. My manager Geller has such authority. Serena had appeared at the door silently. Ron's face transformed instantly, bowing and scraping. Ms. Sterling, I was just guiding Caleb on workplace protocol. Only I get to bully my assistant. Serena walked up to me, reaching out to straighten my collar. The gesture was intimate, natural, as if we had never been apart. Manager Geller, since you enjoy organizing files so much, hand copy the last 3 years of financial reports. Have them on my desk by tomorrow morning. Ron looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. Ms. Sterling, that's... Finish it or pack your things. Ron scrambled away. I looked at Serena, a warm current rising in my chest. Thanks. Don't mention it. She leaned close to my ear, her breath warm. Just remember to pay me back. Company retreat. We went to a hot spring resort. Ron was left behind, copying reports. Everyone was partying, but I sat in the corner, nursing a drink. Serena was surrounded by executives, the moon amid the stars. She wore a backless black evening gown, looking devastatingly beautiful. I remember how she used to love wearing my oversized t-shirts, curled up on the couch, eating chips. That Serena was real cute. This Serena was regal, unreachable. After a few rounds, they started playing truth or dare. The bottle spun and landed on Serena. Silence. No one dared ask the boss a truth or give her a dare. Except Julian. The guy had somehow crashed the party and was sitting opposite Serena, looking provocative. Serena, truth or dare? Serena swirled her wine. Truth. Julian smirked. In the last 3 years, did you ever think about Caleb Hayes? Everyone looked at me. My palms started sweating. Serena glanced at me, her eyes indifferent. No. The single word was a knife to the heart. Whispers broke out, followed by Julian's triumphant laugh. I told you. How could a loser like him be on your mind? I lowered my head and downed my drink. Bitter. The bottle spun again. This time, it pointed at me. Julian jumped to ask the question. Caleb, I heard you prayed for a sugar mama at Serena's grave. Was it because you always hated that she was poor and wanted her dead? The question was vicious. I snapped my head up, staring daggers at Julian. No. Stop pretending. Julian shouted. Everyone knows you're obsessed with money. You'd do anything for a buck. I only let you hang around as a joke. You actually think you're some tragic romantic? I was at my limit, ready to explode. Serena suddenly stood up. Enough. She pulled out her phone and connected it to the room's sound system. Since everyone is so interested, let's listen to a recording. The sound of wind noise filled the speakers. Then my voice, choked with tears, screaming in agony. Serena, please don't be dead. I don't want a promotion. I don't want a billionaire. I just want you back. Even if you're a ghost, even if you're ugly or old, I'll take care of you. Please, come back. I'm burning the villa because you always said you wanted a big house. I'm burning the money because I'm scared you'll be poor over there. Serena, I miss you. Dead silence. Only the desperate sobbing of a man echoed in the hall. I was stunned. That was the recording from the first Memorial Day I visited her grave. I had cried like an idiot, totally unaware anyone was recording. Serena turned off the audio, her eyes burning into mine. Her rims were slightly red. Caleb, is that what you meant by only wanting a sugar mama? I opened my mouth, but my throat was blocked. I couldn't speak. She knew. She had been watching me the whole time. Julian's face went pale. This is fake, right? Serena shot him a freezing glare. That was recorded by the surveillance camera I had installed on the tombstone. Caleb might be an idiot, and he might be cheap, but his conscience toward me is clear. She walked over and held out her hand. Let's go, idiot. Where? To see the villa you burned for me. Dazed, I placed my hand in hers. In that moment, I realized something. For 3 years, I thought I was loving a ghost. But she had been there, just loving me and testing me in a way I couldn't understand. And my joke about wanting a billionaire girlfriend? It had apparently been her motivation. She actually became a billionaire. And then she came back for me. Walking out of the banquet hall hand in hand with Serena, I felt like the favorite concubine chosen by the Empress. Behind us, the sound of Julian smashing a glass was music to my ears. We got into the Maybach. Serena floored it. Boss, driving under the influence? I asked weakly. I didn't drink. She glanced at me. That was grape juice in my glass. Right, you're the boss. The car tore down the road, eventually stopping halfway up a mountain in front of a mansion. I got out and my jaw dropped. This house, why did it look so familiar? European style, large pool, garden full of roses. This was literally a life-size version of the paper model I burned for her. Even the 2 stone lions at the gate had the same constipated expression. My finger trembled pointing at the house. How is it accurate? Serena leaned against the car door, smirking. I hired the best architects to replicate it exactly from photos of the paper models you burned. I swallowed hard. Boss, are you letting me move in? Dream on. She tossed me the keys. This is employee housing. You live in the housekeeper's room on the 1st floor. I knew it. Inside, the luxury was offensive. Crystal chandeliers, leather sofas, pure wool carpets. Caleb, run my bath. Serena kicked off her heels and collapsed onto the sofa, abandoning all elegance. Remember, 107 degrees. 1 degree more scalds the pig. 1 degree less, and I catch a cold. I resigned myself to my fate. As I filled the tub, I grumbled internally. This wasn't an ex-girlfriend. This was an ancestor I had to worship. When I came back out, Serena was asleep. She was curled up on the sofa like a tired kitten, her brows slightly furrowed, seemingly troubled even in dreams. I sighed and grabbed a blanket to cover her. Looking at her sleeping face, I couldn't resist reaching out to smooth her furrowed brow. Just as my fingertips were about to brush her skin, her eyes snapped open. They were clear, no sign of sleepiness at all. Trying to sneak a touch. I yanked my hand back. No, I just saw a mosquito. A mosquito? She sat up, grabbed my tie, and yanked me close. Our breath mingled. Caleb, admit it. You still love me. My heart skipped a beat. Ms. Sterling, we have a professional relationship. Please maintain boundaries. Oh, is that so? A wicked grin curled her lips. Then as your superior, I order you to kiss me. My brain short-circuited. Was this workplace sexual harassment? But I didn't exactly want to file a complaint. Just as I was debating whether to close my eyes, a furious pounding echoed from the front door. Serena, open up. I know you're in there. It was Julian, the lingering spirit that refused to be exorcised. The mood evaporated instantly. Serena let go of me, looking annoyed. Go get rid of him. Ow! Tell him I'm busy and not seeing guests. I straightened my clothes, walked to the door, and opened it a crack. Julian stood there, face twisted in rage. Hayes, move. I need to see Serena. I leaned against the doorframe, faking a lazy yawn. I tugged my tie loose, exposing a bit of collarbone. Julian, it's late. Can't this wait until tomorrow? Serena. Just want to sleep. She's exhausted. The phrasing was ambiguous. Extremely ambiguous. Julian's face turned green. You too. Can't be helped. Ms. Sterling has significant needs. Work demands. I looked innocent. If there's nothing else, I should get back. I need to warm the bed. Warmer milk. Slam! I shut the door on Julian's roar. Turning around, I saw Serena standing there with her arms crossed, looking amused. Good performance, mister. Oscar winner. I scratched my head. You flatter me. Good leadership inspires good work. Since you already put the word out. She stepped closer, her eyes dangerous. You better actually warm the bed tonight. I didn't dare actually warm her bed, of course. I huddled in the housekeeper's room all night, dreaming that Serena was whipping me and demanding I burn more money. I woke up with dark circles under my eyes. Serena was already up, eating toast, looking radiant. Eat. We're going to the office. Big negotiation today. She tossed a slice of bread at me. The client is a tough nut to crack. Be sharp. At the office, I found out who the tough nut was. It was my old college roommate, Zach Powers. The guy used to be a recluse who only played video games. Now he was the CEO of a tech firm. The world is a strange place. Zach looked just as shocked to see me. Caleb, what are you doing here? I'm Ms. Sterling's assistant. Zach looked from me to Serena and back, giving me a knowing nod. Nice one, Caleb. Living the soft life, huh? At the negotiation table, the tension was thick. Zach wouldn't budge on price. Serena wouldn't give an inch. In the stalemate, Zach turned to me. Caleb, we're brothers. Put in a good word. If we close this, I'll give you this much. He held up 5 fingers. 50 grand? My heart fluttered. Serena turned to me, eyes icy. Mr. Hayes, do you have something to say? I cleared my throat. Mr. Powers, friendship is friendship. Business is business. I put on my serious face. Ms. Sterling's offer is already generous. If you don't accept. If I don't, what? I'll have to burn some spirit money to wish for your business's success. Zach's face changed. He was incredibly superstitious. Back in college, he prayed to the god of grades before every exam. Don't. Caleb, your mouth is cursed. I'm scared of you. Zach folded immediately. Fine. We'll do it, Ms. Sterling's way. Contract signed. Serena looked at me, a flicker of a smile in her eyes. Didn't know you had that kind of leverage. Absolutely. My mouth is certified by the underworld. We barely stepped out of the conference room when Julian showed up again. This time, he brought his spiritual guru. The guy was wearing flowing robes, holding a wooden sword, looking like a total fraud. Serena, this guy has too much negative energy. He's definitely possessed by something dirty. Julian pointed at me screaming, Master, exorcise him. The guru waved his sword and charged at me. Demon, reveal yourself. I stood there confused. What century was this? Serena stepped in front of me, staring coldly at the guru. Get out. The guru froze, intimidated by her aura. Julian, are you done? Serena snapped. Serena, I'm doing this for you. This guy is cursed. Julian wouldn't give up. Look at him. Ever since he showed up, you haven't been acting normal. I'm not normal. Serena laughed coldly. I think you're the one who needs a brain scan. She turned to me. Caleb, call security. Throw these 2 lunatics out. I pulled out my phone. The guru suddenly shouted, Wait. He stared at my face, looking grave. Sir, your forehead is dark. You face a bloody calamity. I roll my eyes. Master, that line is a cliché. Try something new. I am not joking. The guru looked serious. Have you felt a chill on your back recently? Nightmares? The feeling of being watched. My heart skipped. He actually nailed it. But I stayed stubborn. That's just the AC being too low. The guru shook his head and sighed. Fine, believe what you will. Take this talisman. It might save your life. He shoved a yellow paper charm in my hand, then grabbed Julian and ran. I held the charm, feeling a bit creeped out. Serena snatched the paper and tossed it in the trash. Superstitious nonsense. Shook my hand. Come on, taking you somewhere. Where? To cash in your spirit money. She took me to the bank. She opened an account in my name and handed me a black card. There's $5 million in there. Consider it a return gift for all the paper money you burned for me. My hand shook holding the card. Ms. Sterling, isn't this too much? Too much. Give it back. No. It's perfect. I shoved the card into my pocket. This was real money, way more reliable than the bank of heaven and earth. However, Serena shifted tone. The money isn't free. What do you want? I looked at her warily. I want you to marry into the family. And marry in? I shouted in the quiet bank lobby, drawing stares. The security guard reached for his taser. Serena calmly put on her sunglasses. Keep it down. Do you want everyone to know you're selling yourself for glory? I lowered my voice. Boss, the script is wrong. Shouldn't it be billionaire falls for me, brings me home, and we live happily ever after? Why is this a live-in son-in-law scenario? Because my dad doesn't like you. Serena brought me back to reality. He thinks you're a con artist who burns paper for a living. You have to prove to him that you have value beyond pyromania. I grimaced. Can I return the $5 million? Too late. Serena smirked. You signed a prenuptial agreement hidden inside that contract earlier. My mind went blank. I was so excited signing the papers, I hadn't read the fine print. The evils of capitalism. Come home with me tonight. Meet the parents. Serena patted my shoulder. Perform well. Otherwise, that $5 million becomes a breach of contract fee, and you'll owe me 10 times that. Talk about a hostile takeover. That night, the Sterling estate. It was even more ostentatious than the hillside villa. Walking in, the air felt murderous. Serena's father, Victor Sterling, sat on a throne-like chair, rotating two antiquary stones in his hand. Sitting next to him was Julian Thorne, looking smug. Why was this cockroach here? Good evening, sir, I greeted stiffly. Victor hummed, but ignored me. Julian spoke up, voice dripping with sarcasm. Well, if it isn't Assistant Hayes. Already thinking of yourself as the son-in-law. Julian is my guest. Victor finally spoke, his voice booming. I think Julian is much more suitable than this boy who plays ghost tricks. Serena pulled me to sit down, defiant. Dad, who I choose is my freedom. Freedom? A Sterling husband must be a dragon among men. Victor glared at me. Boy, I hear you can read fortunes? I smiled awkwardly. A little. Then tell me, these two stones in my hand, which one is the authentic antique, and which one is the fake? Can you calculate that with fortune-telling? I started sweating. The old man was setting me up. Julian fanned the flames. Uncle Victor, he's obviously a fraud. He knows nothing. I took a deep breath. If they were going to force my hand, I'd have to cheat. I closed my eyes, pretending to calculate on my fingers. In reality, I was replaying the memory of walking in. I had noticed a faint scar on Victor's left thumb, and he was rubbing the left stone much harder than the right one. Sir, neither is fake per se, I said calmly, opening my eyes. But the left one is the one you bought at an auction 3 years ago for 28 grand. The right one was a gift from Julian, claiming to be a century-old artifact, but it's actually chemically aged. Worth about 20 bucks. Dead silence. Silence. Julian's smile froze. Yep, you're lying. Victor's expression shifted. He held up the right stone to the light. Indeed, there was a tiny fissure consistent with rapid chemical aging. Julian, explain. Julian panicked. Uncle, I was scammed. The seller swore it was real. Enough. Victor slammed the stones on the table. If you can't even appraise a stone, how can I trust you to appraise a business deal? He turned to me, his gaze softening slightly. Kid, you have sharp eyes. I exhaled. I hadn't divined anything. I just overheard Serena complaining about Julian giving fake gifts months ago. It was a lucky guess. However, eyes aren't enough. Victor stood up. To enter the Sterling family, you must pass 3 trials. First trial, drinking. He pointed to a row of high-proof whiskey bottles. Drink them all. If you're still standing, you pass. I looked at the 10 bottles of bourbon. That was a lethal dose. Serena started to object, but I stopped her. Sir, drinking hurts the liver. How about a different contest? What kind? Burning offerings. I look sincere. We compete to see whose burnt offerings actually reached the ancestors. Victor paused. Julian burst out laughing. Are you a moron? How do you verify that? I have a way. I smiled mysteriously. Tonight at midnight, in the family mausoleum. We'll test it. The Sterling mausoleum was eerie. Rows of ancestral plaques lined the walls. Midnight. Cold wind. Julian cowered behind Victor. Uncle, this guy is nuts. Let's not indulge him. Victor was calm. He'd seen everything. I want to see what tricks he has. I set up a burner and pulled out my special paper. This was the result of 3 years of research. Joss paper treated with specific chemicals to burn with multicolored flames and make a sound like coins clinking. Ancestors. Caleb Hayes here to pay respects. I lit the paper. Instantly, green flames leaped from the basin, crackling loudly. In the dark mausoleum, it looked spectacular and terrifying. Holy crap. Ghost fire. Julian fell on his butt. Victor's eyes went wide. What? What is this? The ancestors are manifesting. It means they receive the money and they're happy. I bullshitted with a straight face. Sir, look at the flame dancing. Victor actually nodded. It does look a bit like. My grandfather loved to dance. I almost laughed. Next, Julian's turn. I handed Julian a stack of generic supermarket paper money. Go ahead. Julian lit it with trembling hands. Yellow flame, lots of smoke. Nothing special. Cough, cough. Victor waved the smoke away. Cheap stuff. Choking me to death. I added, seems the ancestors don't like Julian's money. Maybe the denomination is too small, or they know it's dirty money. Julian turned pale. You liar. I bought this at the store. Store-bought has no soul. Mine is hand-painted and infused with intent. Victor stared at the dancing green fire. Kid, do you have more of this paper? Plenty. Come burn some on the 1st and 15th of every month. Victor decided. First trial passed. Julian ground his teeth, but didn't dare speak. What's the second trial? I pressed. Second trial, courage. Victor pointed to a desolate patch of land behind the estate. Rumor says it's haunted. Spend the night there. Come out tomorrow morning, and you pass. My heart sank. The place looked genuinely evil. Overgrown weeds. A few unmarked graves. Dad, that's dangerous. Serena yelled. Serena, if he lacks the guts to face a ghost, how can he protect you? Victor was unmovable. I squeezed Serena's hand. Don't worry. I'm not afraid of you when you're a ghost. Why would I fear wild ones? Serena's eyes watered. Idiot. I took a flashlight and walked into the wasteland. Julian shouted from behind. Don't get eaten, Hayes. I'm not collecting your body. I ignored him and found a sheltered spot. I was actually terrified. But for the 5 million. No, for Serena, I had to do it. Deep night. Only the sound of crickets. Suddenly, a rustling noise came from the grass. Like something crawling. I gripped the wooden sword, the one the guru dropped earlier. Who's there? The grass parted. Out popped. A husky? The dog looked at me with a goofy grin and wagged its tail. I sighed. Just a dog. But then, I felt eyes on my back. The feeling of being watched, just like the guru said. I spun around. Nothing. Just wind in the trees. Was I paranoid? I touched the talisman in my pocket. Just as I was trying to rest, my phone buzzed. A text from Serena. Don't be scared. I'm in the car watching from the road. Attached was a photo of the wasteland taken from her Maybach. My heart warmed. She was my talisman. Then, I saw a black shadow dart behind a grave mound. Not the dog. A person. Worse. I killed my light and crept forward. The shadow burying something. I got closer. In the moonlight, I saw the face. It was Julian. The guy was bent over, burying black boxes in the dirt. I crept closer and heard him muttering. Humph. Let's see if he scares you to death, Hayes. Bury these Bluetooth speakers. Play some screaming sounds at 3 a.m. You'll wet your pants. So that was it. The haunting was just this rich kid's prank. I sneered internally. I pulled out my phone and recorded him burying the speakers and testing the ghost whale sound effects. Video secured. Now, time for revenge. I hid behind a tree, took out the guru's yellow talisman, and stuck it on my forehead. Then I turned on my phone flashlight, held it under my chin, and let out a guttural moan. Julian froze mid-dig. Who? I slowly walked out from the tree, sticking my tongue out. Give me back my life. Julian turned, saw the floating lit-up face and the talisman. Yeah, ghost. He scrambled backward, losing a shoe, crawling on all fours. Don't haunt me. It was Hayes. He's the one you want. Not me. Watching him flee, I laughed until my stomach hurt. The next morning, I walked out of the wasteland looking fresh, carrying a bag of Bluetooth speakers. Victor and Serena were waiting. Julian was there too, looking like a zombie, shaking. Well, see any ghosts? Victor asked. I dumped the speakers on the table. I did. Some ghosts. I hit play. A blood-curdling scream erupted from the speakers. Victor's face went dark. This is a misunderstanding. Julian stammered. I played the video on my phone. Julian cursing me while burying the devices was crystal clear. Julian, this is your ghost? Serena asked icily. Despicable. Victor kicked over Julian's gift basket. Get out. Don't let me see you again. Julian ran faster than he had the night before. I thought that was it. But Victor pondered for a moment. You exposed Julian's trick, which shows you're clever, Victor said. But to be a sterling husband, you need real capability. Third trial. The final one. He handed me a file. This is a plot of land in the South District. We started building a mall, but strange things keep happening. Workers here crying, machines break down. Construction has stopped. Fix it. I took the file. This sounded way more serious than the speakers in the graveyard. Dad, that's unfair. Serena protested. That's an engineering problem. He's the PA and the fiancé. If he can't fix this, he's useless. Victor was firm. I held Serena's hand. I'll do it, but I'm a warrior of materialism. Plus, I have a billionaire backer. At the site, it was a ghost town. Foreman Lee shook his head when he saw me. Mister, Hayes, go home. This place is cursed. How so? Excavators moving on their own at night, digging huge pits, and a woman in white dancing on the roof. I frowned. Show me the pit. I jumped into the pit. The dirt was fresh and it smelled like diesel. I climbed to the roof where the ghost danced. I found stray white fabric threads and fishing line. I had a theory. This wasn't supernatural. It was sabotage. Highly technical sabotage. Foreman Lee, gather the workers tonight. I'm performing a ritual. Lee's eyes lit up. You know magic? A little. I smirked. Give me a rooster, a bucket of black dog blood, and a high-lumen 4K projector. That night, the site was lit up. Worker silk bathrobe, holding a wooden sword. Tonight, I forced the demon to reveal its true form. I waved the sword. Rise. Rise. The projector blasted a beam of light onto the unfinished concrete wall. The video feed appeared. Not a ghost, but man in work clothes, sneaking around, short-circuiting the excavator's ignition and using a remote control. The crowd buzzed. Isn't that Joey the rat from the site next door? The video cut to the white lady. It was a white sheet on a drone rig controlled by the same guy. Foreman Lee was shocked. I picked up a microphone. There is no ghost. Just a man messing with your livelihood. I installed infrared cameras days ago. We caught everything. The workers were furious. Get him. Beat him. I spotted a figure trying to sneak away from the crowd. Lee, grab the guy in blue. The workers tackled him. It was Joey. I was forced. Joey squealed. By who? I looked down at him. Ron Geller. He paid me $5,000 to stall the project, so Ms. Sterling would look bad. Ron again. And behind him, Julian, no doubt. I called Serena. Boss caught the ghost. Who? Your HR manager, Ron. Silence. Bring him in. Back at the office, it was 2 a.m. Ron was tied up on the floor. Serena sat in her chair, terrifyingly calm. Victor was there, clicking his worry stones. Ron, what? Serena asked. Ron wept. I'm sorry. Julian promised me a VP role at Thorn Group if I tanked this project. Victor scoffed. The Thorn kid plays dirty. He looked at me, finally showing respect. Caleb, good work. You solved the problem and purged the traitor. Just lucky the cameras worked, I said humbly. Modesty is good. Victor stood up. You passed all 3 trials. Welcome to the family. I sighed in relief. However, Victor added, we need a dowry. I tensed. Sir, I have no money. I don't want money. Victor pointed out the window. I want your craft. My craft. The burning. You said the ancestors receive it. Yes. Every Memorial Day, you are responsible for burning $100 million worth of spirit money for the Sterling ancestors. So, I was still just a combustion technician. I agreed instantly. For Serena, I'll burn $1 billion. Serena walked over and linked her arm in mine, smiling. Dad stopped teasing him. She looked at me, eyes meltingly soft. Caleb Hayes, congratulations. You're hired. Permanently. The wedding was a month later. All the city's elite came to see the paper-burning son-in-law. The venue was old, white roses, dark red carpet, and the music sounded suspiciously like a remix of a funeral chant. Boss, isn't this theme a bit underworld? I whispered. Serena wore a black wedding dress. She looked breathtakingly dangerous. Why? Don't like it. I love it. Just expecting the Grim Reaper to be a groomsman. Just then, Zach and Foreman Lee walked in wearing black suits and sunglasses, looking exactly like undertakers. Caleb, congrats. Zach handed me a thick, red envelope. Real cash inside, not the flammable kind. The ceremony began. The officiant was the guru/Taoist I'd scared off. Victor hired him back. Do you take this, man? Wait. Serena stopped him. She pulled a file from behind her. What's this? Your bride price. I opened it. A stock transfer agreement. 50% of her shares transferred to me. Caleb, you want a billionaire? Now you are one. My hand shook. This is too much. It's not, she whispered in my ear. Compared to the 3 years of devotion and every penny you had burned for me, this is nothing. I teared up. Serena, don't cry. You'll ruin your makeup. She kissed me fiercely. Applause thundered. Marriage sealed, the guru shouted. Now the final ritual. Wait, what? Victor stood up and pointed to a massive bronze brazier. Burn the offering. And so, at our wedding, the bride and groom stood in high fashion, frantically throwing paper money into a fire. Ancestors, I'm married. Have some candy money. I chanted as I threw the paper. The firelight danced on Serena's face. She was laughing, truly happy. Caleb, yeah, in the next life, will you still burn paper for me? Yes. I squeeze her hand. I'll burn myself for you, if I have to. That way, human or ghost, you can't get rid of me. Serena laughed. Idiot, just be glad the server connected. Otherwise, you'd be romancing the air for the rest of your life.